Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. I'm here with dear friends and family. My sister, Claire Amano, and her husband, Jeff, is a dear friend. Claire is my sister, my youngest sister. And I asked them to come on. Actually, they're by Zoom because they're in a different part of the country in their traveling craft and art business that they enjoy together, which is a really wonderful thing. So I'm very happy for them, but I miss them because they're not in Dallas very often. Thanks, sponsors, Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication, our former connection, ComC.com, Burbank Sports Cards, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Heritage Auctions, Huggins & Scott Auctions, Topps, Panini, and Upper Deck. Great sponsors, and I always have great guests, unsurpassed guests today, and Claire and Jeff. Today is actually the 24th exact anniversary of actually when the episode will come out is almost exactly when my heart attack started. But we're doing this the day before, but it'll be released tomorrow. It's the 24th anniversary of my near fatal heart attack. Claire and Jeff were right in the thick of that. And rather than me reciting how I felt when I was in a virtual coma, they were looking at a guy that at one point didn't look like he was going to make it, and then it was divinely, miraculously pulled through, and I'm so happy because I've had a wonderful life since then. But when that happened, y'all were there very quickly, and y'all both really, really stepped up in the sense of the company. And just to contextualize this, that Donald Trump, I'm not Donald Trump, but I didn't have COVID. When the president of the United States gets COVID, then the country doesn't shut down. People step up, but there's a lot more organization there. And our company, I had a heart attack on a Sunday morning, and y'all were there. And I think Monday, the company kept on. And I guess I don't know that there's an opportunity to publicly thank you both for that. Is that I really cared about the company, but I needed to take care of my health. And so welcome to the show, Claire and Jeff.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that, again, you are here today and you were there 24 years ago.
Glad you're here today as well.
One of the things that came up that I was realizing is that I don't know if both of you signed it. I know Claire signed it and maybe Jeff too, but before my heart attack, there had been a kind of a letter sent to me or something slid under my door given to me that was telling me to quit working so hard. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that. Do you?
I haven't.
No.
It was a one-page letter saying you're working too hard. It didn't say you're going to have a heart attack. It just said you're working too hard. We, the leadership of the company, want you to back off a little bit.
Huh.
Wow.
Not sure. It was like the year before.
Wow.
Somewhere I don't do anonymous. So.
No, you were either on it or on it. I have to go find the original paper. It was, but I was burning my candle at both ends. So
yeah, we
were
working really hard.
Y'all were shocked or surprised. I wasn't in bad shape or anything, but I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. I had some stress. People don't realize that stress, you can get stress from positive things. We were having lots of victories at home at the office, and a lot of those were attributed to both of y'all. The company was doing great, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Where were we in the non-sport aspect? Were we already fully into the Pokemon, Digimon?
Not at all.
No.
Was that on the horizon then?
No.
That didn't kick into the late 90s?
Yeah.
Right.
99.
Okay.
Was when.
Yeah. Yeah, 99, 98, 99.
What was your, were you able to, were people at the office freaked out? Or were you reassuring? Like I said, I'm looking at the Trump situation where there's all this misinformation of one person saying one thing, another person, but it seemed like y'all two especially had a unified front to present an accurate situation. I know, Jeff, you gave a speech, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember the speech verbatim, but I know that I said we have to separate what we can't do from what we can do. And right now we have to focus on what we can do and what we know we have to do. And so we gave them regular updates, I think every day, on how you're doing so that they would know. But everybody had to do their job. Everybody had to use Jimmy Johnson's quote, everybody had to beat the man in front of them. Focus on that and the team will come together.
We had weekly deadlines. We had at least 4 magazines at that point. So every Monday was a different magazine.
Oh, yeah.
People couldn't say, we're gonna take a break now. We were, again, and that's one of both of y'all's forte is being consistent. And like I've said, saying what you mean and doing what you say. And we had an implicit, our brand promise that y'all carried through is that we're going to be delivering to our dealers and our collectors in a timely manner with accurate prices and a pleasing magazine. And that carried on. And that's
and never missing a deadline.
It was on, the on time, every time thing was something that you spoke many times about to the company. And I think the company rallied around that to do as you wished.
I can't tell you, I can reveal now because it's statute of limitations, that there was a time when a deadline was missed. And what happened was I didn't have either of you in the picture. I missed the deadline myself when it was me, myself, and I for the second edition of the baseball magazine.
No kidding.
1984. It very much predates Claire and Jeff. And myself, I actually was like a half a day late to the printer. And the printer said, "You missed your press time." And I went, "No, you said it was today." "No, we said it was today at 9 o'clock. You were going to be on the press. And it's afternoon." I said, "Yeah, well, it just was the day." They said, we can schedule press time next week. They bumped it back a week. And I was being printed locally but they didn't know who I was. And I said, "Well, this is really important. This is timely price guide information for baseball cards." And they didn't go, "Oh, we'll just drop everything we're doing." But it's kind of like I learned my lesson from my mom when she threw out some of my baseball cards when I didn't put them away. In this case, I learned a lesson. If you're a little bit late, you're late. You're not a little bit late, you're just late. And Jeff, you certainly epitomize that. And Claire, because you had all kinds of deadlines in the division you were leading, it wasn't as much price sensitive. It's just that if you say you're going to do it, you need to do it.
Okay. That was a big deal to our mom too, about never being late.
Yeah. What did anybody else surprise you in their reactions to my heart attack? Because you guys came up the hospital and saw firsthand, which didn't look good at first. And each day, I guess I got a little better, but there were a couple people I think freaked out.
Oh yeah, even and speak for myself, it was hard to process.
Yeah.
Because you did not show any signs. You weren't like in terrible shape or anything. It was a shock. It was just like even going to the hospital after hearing the news and getting dressed. I remember everybody asking me, and I wasn't emotional because I was numb, because I was just going through the motions because it had to be done. But man, it took the whole drive. I just remember it was just a shock.
It really was. It's hard to settle down inside too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I've been to the doctor since, and they say, "Has anybody had any heart attacks in your family, this kind of issue, that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my brother had a heart attack when he was 47. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, wasn't overweight and everything." And they're like, and they'd be like, "Okay, we're going to admit you." Pretty much.
It's you right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't a coffee drinker.
Diane says that the fact that I didn't drink coffee.
Oh, okay.
She's a big coffee drinker. So she said coffee would have been protection. I'm not sure about that. Did y'all's roles did change? I think when right after that happened, there was a little bit of a reshuffling, reorganization, and y'all both really stepped up, and a few other people. So it wasn't a massive reorganization, but I'd already stepped back somewhat from the day-to-day price guide stuff. But the price guide guys really came through, and all the different groups in the company, I think, did. It was, and again, hats off to y'all because I wasn't there. I wasn't there for a month. Did I come back like a month later? I think I came back a month later and just popped in and said, "Hey, I'm
right."
If you remember, something strange about it is in August before that, I had written to you actually a letter of resignation that I was going to leave at the end of the year. Do you remember that?
Which letter of resignation was that, Jeff?
It was serious. It was
that was the 1996 letter. Okay, I may have that. I'm trying to figure out.
So yeah, roles did change.
It's just, you don't want to wish that on anybody, but it's just like a character can be revealed in a crisis, and your ability to delegate or to not necessarily. I never thought I was an inspirer as much as we were doing inspiring work, and people were doing things they enjoyed. And so there was a little bit of a joie de vivre that is more than what I have that would be at the office. Y'all have it a lot more than I do. People liked what they were doing. They liked who they were doing it with. And so I don't think there wasn't a crisis in the industry or in our company that, hey, we're not going to be okay. Maybe they didn't know if I was going to be okay, but I think they knew the company was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And y'all were reassuring in that regard.
My big memory about that hospital is coming down there, and they let me come in with you, but you were under some type of amnesia type. They give you some type of an amnesia type of drug so that you're not remembering what you just went through to keep you calm. And I was in the room with you, and you made some hand gestures. Your eyes are shut and won't open, and you have whatever the intubation and all of that going on. But you make a hand motion that I take to mean that you want a pencil. And I held the pad under your pencil, and you chicken scratched out. And you're not even supposed to even be able to be thinking this well, is what the doctor said. And you chicken scratched out, "Where's CRM?" which is the initials of your daughter. And daughters. And that was just incredible that at that moment, that's what you were thinking about, a life-threatening moment. So that's pretty cool.
I think the second thing I wrote was, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
I was having trouble
Joking.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but thanks for being there, obviously. But no, it's weird. But what happened was they had damaged my like a deviated septum when they were doing the intubation.
Yeah.
Messed up. And so I was under anesthesia for that. But they can't give you so much anesthesia if you've had a heart attack. But they're trying to repair that while I'm still recovering from the heart attack. And so the anesthesia is not as strong. And so I was out of it, but not out of it. And so the sinus surgery was extremely painful. And I did feel that. And that's what I woke up to. I knew I'd probably had a heart attack or something, because why would I be in a hospital room? I'd gone to the emergency room before I was in the emergency room when I dropped dead of a heart attack. And that was earlier that morning. And I think y'all were there.
Oh, yeah, you did what happened to me. And I whispered it in your ear, but then I was a little worried that I told you something that maybe would be upsetting for you to hear at that moment. That, and they were having to suction because you were draining from this deviated septum thing was draining, which was making you choke. And then you were in intensive care, but they weren't in there always suctioning on time. And it was like, we need suction in here. I felt like, gosh, how do you leave? And it taught me you need an advocate.
A patient advocate, and it's great that your sister, who's pretty calm under pressure. Part of both of y'all, I've seen both of y'all play a lot of different sports, and basically, because we had a very sports oriented, we had our sport court in the middle of our office. So you're either calm under pressure or you're not, and that's not just sports. You're either calm and think straight, and both of y'all did that. And again, I don't remember any mass exodus. We had a few people. We had normal turnover. I think that year it wasn't like people say, "Hey, we're out of here now. This guy's going to be." He's a loser. He's can't even stay upright. But I don't know. I think I came back. I think I didn't have a lot of energy for a while. So y'all really, I just was depleted and taken aback. And like I said, the price guide guys really came through. All the customer service. I'm sure they had to. Yep. Did y'all give scripts to people? I mean, like a script to the people that were doing the customer service to say, "Hey, here's what you can say and what you can't say." Or
yeah, we certainly did. Well, we discussed it. I think you were the one that did it. Really? but yeah, we had everything to say to you. And then because I remember we had specific things to say to the very large dealers that were close to you, to people like the Upper Deck and all those kinds of guys, and the leagues. We had there was a huge list actually of different kind of categories of people and what would be said. But yeah, it was a kind of a tricky time. But I don't think anybody in the company ever thought that he wouldn't make it.
Right.
Nobody thought that. It was about when is Jim going to be back?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anybody had any doubts, at least they didn't voice any.
Because in truth, you end up coming out with 3 stents that you're good to go now. A fresh start.
Easier said than done. But I got to stop now because I have a pact with my listeners that I'm going to do drive time episodes. No matter how interesting they are, I'm going to close them at 15 minutes. But I can say that was a dividing point from me really delegating and really being more of an executive. And it was thanks to y'all who took over a lot of the operational responsibility that really allowed me to get fully healthy again. So I think I'm really healthy now. And so, again, that's not totally thanks to you, but largely thanks to you. Certainly in 96, I don't know what I would have done if y'all hadn't been there for me. So other people too. But
hey, Jim, I just want to say one thing. I only want to say one thing. I may not make it, but you say you weren't an inspiring speaker, but you have to remember that people were inspired by your character and the way you treated people. That here was this guy that was like a genius, and people knew it, but you didn't treat people like they were less than you. You're from the people that worked in the warehouse all the way up to the people closest to you, and that was the inspiration for the company.
That's nice.
I'm trying to end on a positive note, but
that's not positive.
That's too positive. So, listeners, I'll be back again tomorrow with an episode that's more balanced. So, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Claire. We enjoyed this, and we'll do it again. We'll see what the listeners think about all this stuff. So, thanks again. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.